Now, on to part 3, where we actually start modelling the vehicle. So we've all set up, we've got our little emergency van here, and I'm just going to block out the major components. Now, I don't want to do it all in one mesh. I actually want to break it into various bits. So now that I've got my box model, I'm just going to get rid of that and add a new cube. Tabbing into edit mode, going to look just side on, and all I'm going to do is grab in particular directions and try and get things set up. So I might just scale Y direction, grab, want that about there, grab Y about there, and all I'm really doing is blocking out the basic shape. So and of course that's not quite right, so I might have to look from behind for this one to get the rough sort of shape, and that little bit you notice there pops down, so I don't want to use that as my guide. And the other thing I want to do is actually mirror this so that it's easier on the modeling. Grab X direction, just slide that out, grab Z, pop it up a little bit, and I should add the mirror modifier just to make the modeling process easier. So what the mirror modifier allows me to do, just enable clipping there, grab, slide that to the center, Z, grab X direction only. Now you'll notice me I'm using a lot of just particular directions, and I just want to hollow this out, so I need to remove this face here, so X, only the face. And that's looking pretty good. And it might lead to some problems when I try and do stuff. You'll notice that I can't do the above, but that because I've got two views, it actually doesn't cause too much of a problem. So checking all sides, that's roughly okay. That, yeah. And so what you'll start noticing at this point is that maybe your objects are not quite, see that side? It needs to slide forward a little bit, where this side seems pretty right. So we'll see how it goes. And then front and back, yeah, that's okay. It pops out a little bit on the front, but not the back. Alright, so that's roughly right. And really, these are only just here to give you a rough guides to get started. So the next piece, and this is, yeah, that's the extent of my modeling for this one. So this is, what is it? It's the vehicle body. So let's go body. Whatever name, vehicle modeling, and I'm just going to go E450, so I know what that vehicle is. Then exit out into object mode, looking from the side. I want to do the cab. The cab's going to be a little more complicated than the main thing. I mean, the reason I chose this cube truck is, or box truck, or ambulance, was that it's simple and it's a great starting point for that sort of stuff. So grab Y direction, slide it forward a bit so it roughly sits over the top. And here I'm going to have to add a few extra little details. So what we do is we have the top of the van, a sliding face, the nose. So I'm going to add what they call a ring cut, Control R, and that should about do it. Now this bit I'm just going to grab in the Y direction, slide it back so it hits about the top of the cab. Grab those two in the Z direction and just pull it down so it touches the top of said cab. And then grab the Z direction again, pull it up so it touches the bottom. Now these are fairly low res images, so you know. And that was the dog. Wonderful. Grab Y, slide it back till it hits about there. I'm going to have to extrude the face, so grab a Z, we'll pull that down to about here. So all I'm really doing is blocking out the really basic shapes. I'm going to have to follow that door line and add the door in later. But if I extrude this out about there, and I might just grab these two, and each time I'm sliding, I'm really just picking a direction I'm sliding it in. I don't want to go freeform just yet, so I'm going to add another ring cut for the front of the tyre and a final ring cut for the roughly where the door should sit. So we've got the bottom of the door there. Grab a Z and eyeball that. Now these, you can notice here that my line's not straight. Easiest way to fix this, scale, Z direction, 0. Makes it all flat in that Z direction, and it just happens to bring that in as well, so that's good. Grab this and just slide it straight up. Yep, Z direction. So here I can add another ring cut at this point. And yeah, I might be doing it the right way, I might be doing it the wrong way. It's really just a point of experimentation and that sort of stuff. So just trying to get that, you know, roughed out shape kind of going on. I'm going to need another line probably along here, because you can notice that ridge on the current. There's another one down the bottom. So I might just add that in, and as you notice, because I've done everything weirdly, it's not going to work too well. So I'm just going to select the appropriate vertices, and then again scale Z0. That flattens them all out. Grab Z direction only, just pull it back in. So I want to bring this one up to match that one, which I didn't do, and I didn't do it on purpose. So I'm going to snap my cursor to selected. Now you can do the same trick, but what you do is you make it the pivot point. Instead of being the average of all the points, make it the 3D cursor. So that way I can scale Z0, and this is one of the tricks that I enter to accept. This is one of the tricks you learn through watching various tutorial videos. So that gives that ridge line through the vehicle. Now front on looks like rubbish, but that's okay, because we have the basic shape going on here. So then flicking to the front view, I need to start distorting that side to bulge it out there and to bring it in here. So I probably want to grab, it's probably X direction now, pull that in, and you notice that there's a ridge line that gives me where that sits. So I want to have a look at it front on. So it actually bulges here, not down here where that ridge panel is. So what I'll have to do is probably bring that up, or adjust it so that the topology gets better. And look, from your experiences, you'll realize that there's a number of ways of doing this, and all you're really doing is pushing vertices around to get that sort of shape happening. So pop that out. So yeah, and you know, I can probably try to keep talking through all of this, but I'm also trying to concentrate on what I'm doing to get the better quality model. Now what you'll notice is that that's not replicated. I thought I'd do, oh no, I duplicated the previous one. Alright, so again, add the mirror modifier for what you're doing. Notice the weirdness going on. Enable clipping. If you don't enable clipping, what happens is grab X direction, it breaks. So I'm just going to enable clipping, grab X, slide it in, and then I'm going to X remove faces. That clears up all that internal mess and I don't have to worry about it. So X to remove faces, all the keywords should be showing up anyway. So here I've got that sort of ridge coming across. Now it might be the case that there's a bit of a piece through here. What I'm going to try and estimate is that there's some sort of line around this point. So I can do a ring cut, or I can try and split it. Ring cut is probably easier. It just starts off with an edge side. So let's just scale Z0. Oops. Accidentally hit H for hide. Grab Z, pull it down so it actually doesn't break the topology. And you'll notice that this is completely munted. Great. Let's undo it. So what I really want is I want something going back from here to connect all this up, and this extends into fancy topology. So anyhow, well, it's a good. I'm going to snap Shift S to the cursor to my selected, and I'm just going to make this extrude out and hit here. So extrude, scale 0, scale 0. Oh, whoops. Yeah, it didn't work because I wasn't doing it to 3D cursor. Scale 0. Alright, that gives me a working line. Now I'll switch to line mode, or edge mode, and get rid of those 3 edges. What I'm going to do is try and tidy up this model a little bit. So back to line mode, vertex mode, and I'm going to face those 2 and then face that one. I need to get this to connect through here, so I'm going to need to split this line probably at that point. So snap, cursor selected, and on this edge I'm really just going to subdivide it, and wouldn't you know it, it's almost perfectly in place. Selecting that vertex. Did I subdivide it or not? It looks like it's subdivided. Okay. Scale 0. Scale 0. So that locks that into that point. And then I can get these 4 panels, 4 vertices, and face them into a panel. Now I need to split this one, same sort of trick, but I'll just tidy up my mess first. Easy way to actually do this stuff is switch to edge mode and select 2 edges and then face it. Alright, so this is actually a quad. It's got 4 corners. This is not a quad because it's got a split through here, so I can either split it and make it touch. If I look at the window, front on, I kind of want that window to be a single what do they call it? Face, if I can help it. So I might want to just get rid of that, because in terms of the topology, it doesn't really add anything. So getting rid of faces, nice or useful skill to have, is first up, I'm going to go to an edge slide and slide that edge all the way so it disappears into this bit. And then I'm going to select everything. And I'm going to go to Mesh, Clean Up, Merge by Distance. Very useful. You notice 2 vertices have been removed. My guess is it's those 2. If I actually, with the Merge by Distance little pop out here, push the number, you can notice my mesh gets completely wrecked because I'm merging by greater and greater distances, and when you get big enough, it removes everything I've done. So just leave it at the minimal settings. Alright, so that's now sorted. I still need to try and resolve this. I don't want to use an n-gon because clean topology always has 4 sides if you can manage it, but I've got to try in here. So one option is to connect that to that and remove this bit, and I've gone to all this effort of doing this thing and I really broke the topology. So let's just go back and select those 4 edges and go face, and then I need to join that to oh wait, I did that because what I was going to do was connect that into there to create the appropriate topology, and then I get this mess. I'm not doing so great this morning, but anyhow, let's see what else I can stuff up in this regard. So I really need to subdivide that edge, subdivide, and then somewhere between here and here, which I'm going to move my 3D cursor. I need it to be a little higher, so well, just face, then do that one, face, face, so yeah, because if I select edge loops, and I'll just click on that one and hold Alt, gives me that little loop through. This gives a loop through. This is a problem because it hits that point and goes, which way do I go? So something weird may happen there. Oops. Oh. Get all the different views. Yeah, so anyhow, we'll keep going with what we've got here. So that gives me a roughed out topology for the cab. I'll eventually add in a door and I'll refine that topology again, but I'm really just trying to block out the basics here. So cab. Alright, now I need to do the wheels. The wheels will be very easy because I'm going to just cheat. Well, they call it cheating, but anyhow. 3D cursor, where are you? 3D cursor, drop it right there. Let's hope it's roughly in the right spot. And add a circle. Well, that didn't work. Tab into edit mode, rotate it in the, I want to flip it up so it'll be the Y direction, that. And then I want to scale it down so it's roughly wheel size. Oops. Grab it, reposition it as necessary, scale a little bit. So in this case I'm just trying to do the external parts of the wheel. This video has probably been going on long enough, so I'm going to pause it there and I'll get back to you in a few moments.